Good evening. I'm County Executive Barry Glassman, and welcome to my virtual town hall on the county budget. This is our 8th annual town hall, and due to the pandemic, we're coming to you this year in an all virtual format. My budget team and I are here to listen to your priorities as we put together the county budget for the fiscal year 2023. I'd like to introduce Larry Richardson. Larry is my policy director for legislative affairs and our MC for this evening. To everyone watching, we're glad you are here and we are here to listen. But first, I'd like to say a quick word about the budget. Funding for the county budget comes mostly from all of us as local taxpayers. We call this our general fund revenue. And where does the money go? Well, historically, about one half of our revenue goes to Harford County Public Schools. The school board decides how to spend this money, but I'm proud that we have fully funded the board's request for the past 2 years. And we have provided enough funds in each of my administration years to increase teacher salaries. The other half of county revenue goes towards everything else. That includes public safety, libraries, parks, fighting the opioid epidemic, services for our seniors and citizens with disabilities, and the homeless. We're still working on revenue estimates for next year, but I can tell you I plan to continue our support for education, public safety, and strengthening our communities, and hopefully returning some of those taxpayer dollars back to you, our citizens. Now I'll turn it over to Larry so we can hear from you.
County Executive, thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Larry Richardson. Our virtual town hall format, first we'll be hearing from some individuals that have written into us with some of their questions and concerns. We'll also be talking to folks who have joined us through our WebEx system. We've also received some information relative to our emails, US mail, and through social media. We'll be switching back and forth based on the volume that comes in so that we can get a full cross section of everyone who will be presenting tonight. For those of us who will be presenting live on our WebEx, just a reminder, you will be allowed 2 minutes. If you're representing a group, that will be 3 minutes. If you are representing a group, we ask that you identify which group you're representing. We do need to keep this fairly close to our time guidelines so that we will give you a warning. We'll give you notice when time is up. When that is, we ask you to please just go ahead and wrap up your comments. Again, we do want to remind everybody we need to be civil in your statements, and we do want to stress this is for budget. So if you have other questions on other issues, we definitely would like to hear from you. But tonight is the night for budget questions only. So with that, let me first go to, I'm sorry. Okay, we have Abigail has called into us. So Abigail, the floor is yours.
Hello, Mr. Glassman. My name is Abigail Bennett, and I am a paraeducator in a pre-K classroom at Havre Grace Elementary School. I love my job, but even with a bachelor's degree, I have made less than $22,000 in 2021. I don't know what kind of budget you live on, but if I were a single person, I would not be able to live just on that income. It is a full-time job. Our school currently is unable to fill 2 inclusion helper positions, which means my para team is jumping in to support those 2 students for the time being. Inclusion helpers make even less than I do. They're less than $20,000 a year. So it's by far the least in our area of the state that inclusion helpers make. You have a history of underfunding schools. You call it responsible budgeting. But at the same time, there's no issue giving friends positions, making much more than I make in your office. It's frustrating. I feel undervalued as an educator. So this is your last budget working with the county before you move on to statewide efforts. I'm asking you to do right by our community with this last opportunity. Take care of our kids. Please fully fund the schools like you say you're doing. And honestly, I will ask that you fund it further than the schools have asked for. Thank you for your time.
Abigail, thank you very much for your comments. Okay, we will next move on to Christy.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Christy Crawford, and I'm the president of the Harford County Education Association. HCEA, for those of you who do not know, is the exclusive bargaining unit for 75% of HCPS employees. We represent certificated staff as well as education support professionals. Just a few short years ago, after years of underfunding, HCPS was faced with a budget crisis that forced the district to make significant programmatic and staffing cuts. Mr. Glassman, we appreciate that you fully funded the HCPS operational request for the last 2 years, which did allow HCPS to restore programs and staffing levels to more appropriate levels. So thank you for that. Please ensure that HCPS receives adequate funding for next year that will prevent any program or staffing cuts. I am gravely concerned about the staffing crisis that our school district and many others across the state are facing. Many are walking away from a profession that they love. As a matter of fact, over 100 educators have resigned from HCPS from September through December. These educators included not only classroom teachers, but the paraprofessionals who are supporting our students with special needs, along with a variety of other staff who have a direct impact on the staff of our on the success of our students. I can only imagine how many more educators are trying to hold out until the end of the school year before they resign. But based on the regular phone calls and emails that I'm receiving, I'm very concerned because it appears that it's quite a few. School districts across the state will all be competing for just a tiny little pool of candidates. Some experienced educators are going to look to come to Harford County and to start fresh. So in addition to preventing any cuts that will negatively impact our students, please fully fund the HCPS budget that provides a compensation package that will allow HCPS to not only attract the best candidates, but we need to retain the amazing people who already work here. We've made so much progress in the last few years, we cannot afford to lose ground. We need the best and brightest in our schools, and we need you to please, once again, fully fund the HCPS operational budget. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Christy, thank you very much for your comments tonight. Okay, we will next move on to Abby. Okay, I'm sorry. So it's over there is Cynthia.
Good evening. I'd like to begin by thanking the county executive for making this time available. My name is Cynthia Poper. I am the in-school suspension technician at Bel Air Middle School. The past 2 years have been a struggle for everyone, especially HCPS educators. Every day we see the impact that the pandemic has had on our students, our colleagues, our administrators, and our system leaders. Many of us have burned the candles at both ends in order to deal with all of the challenges that we face every day. It is simply, truly exhausting. It is critically important that Harford County continue to make education and HCPS a priority. We need to ensure that our students have every resource and opportunity available to them to be successful. We need to make sure that Harford County continues to make strides in compensation packages to ensure that we recruit and retain high-quality educators. The pandemic has exacerbated educator shortages across the country. Our students need us to focus on retaining our amazing educators by compensating them at competitive rates to other Maryland counties. We need to ensure that we don't just mean certificated staff either. We need to ensure that the improvements in the classroom education support professional staff salaries that have been made do not get lost. Increases in the cost of living have, in essence, eaten away at the progress that we've made. We need to be mindful of this and not lose any more ground. Our students need our existing staff, and they need us to be able to attract and hire highly qualified new staff for the positions that are still and constantly available. Not sacrificing programs for our students is also critically important. We need to continue to offer many of the recovery and quarantine programs offered today for several years to come. None of us has any idea what we will face next year or in years to come as a result of the pandemic. We need to make sure that we are always doing everything we can and offering every assistance we can to ensure our students' continued success now and in the future. To these ends, it is extremely important that the budget for the county fully fund the superintendent's requested budget. I realize this is a big ask and a large amount of money, but our children need to be our first and most important priority as they are our future. Mr. Glassman, our children, our educators, our parents, and our schools need you to make them our top priority and fully fund the superintendent's requested budget. Thank you very much.
Okay, Christy, thank you very much. Okay, we'll next move on to Ken. Okay, Ken, are you with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Ken Shannon, and I live in Perryman. I'm here to talk about investment in open space in Perryman. Mr. Glassman, allow me to present a voice from your past.
We're really at the point in Harford County, we've matured to the point where we don't really want to be the cheapest county in town anymore for a house or for an office building. We think we have enough to offer that we want to grow beyond just being a warehouse county with distribution centers.
That was you on October 11th, 2018 on a program called In and Out. Since that time when you said we want to grow beyond just being a warehouse county with distribution centers, more than 3 million additional square feet of warehouses have been inflicted on Perryman. Perryman now has 9.7 million square feet of warehouse space, 39% of the total in Harford County, more than 2 times any other community. Now there's a plan for 5.2 million more square feet of warehouses on the Mitchell Farm in Perryman. A single shift of these 5 mega warehouses could be as many as 2,910 people, according to the developer's preliminary plan. Perryman is a town of 2,500 people. Here's another excerpt of your 2018 interview with In and Out.
Continue to invest in each of those areas. I think, this year I put $20 million into ag land preservation, the largest number of acres that the county has ever preserved. So in the northern end of the county, we're up around 55,000 acres in preserved land. And I think that that's rural legacy and ag land preservation. I think you have to make that investment.
Mr. Glassman, you trumpeted how you put $20 million into ag land preservation. You bragged about how you preserved 55,000 acres in northern Harford County. Since that 2018 interview, an additional $22.9 million has been invested in preserving farmland in the county's agricultural preservation program. You said you have to make that investment in ag and land preservation. Where's that investment for Perryman? The Mitchell property is a farm. It's been a farm for over 100 years. They pay ag property taxes according to the State Department of Assessment and Taxation website. Where's the protection for historic farmland in Perryman? The protection that Northern Harford has benefited from during your terms as county executive.
Okay, Ken, I'm going to need you. We're at our clock time, so I need for you to wrap it up if you don't mind.
You've said that Harford County's longstanding goal has been to protect 75,000 acres for future generations. Please protect 700 acres of Perryman's ag land. Protect Perryman's citizens from the traffic, pollution, noise, and disruption that these mega warehouses would bring. Invest in Perryman. Thank you.
Okay, Ken, thank you very much. Okay, and next we'll go to Paul. Paul, can you hear us? Hey, Paul, I'll check, see if you're on mute. Okay, unfortunately, I think we may have lost Paul. Okay, for that, let's take a quick short step down. We did receive some written comments. So County Executive, if you don't mind, let me bring these to your attention. We received an email from Jack W. Jack points out, in part, based on my experience and overview of the 2 following items, I've identified 2 areas of concern, both within Joppatown community and a critical area supporting this location. Both of these issues are pre-qualified to supply needed and better health and safety to the residents of Rumsey Island. I have surveyed the road network exclusively within Rumsey Island proper. The road has always lived past their expected lifespan as designed and originally constructed in the 1970s and 1980s. The wearing course or surface course of pavement is gone. Base course of pavement is evident even by the layman's observation. The amount of utility patches in all of the roadways outnumber the amount of acceptable pavement. Also, Jack is also asking for funding for the testing of the waterways for swimming. We also received one other quick comment that came in by email. County Executive Grace S. wrote in asking for improving schools and updating facilities and better use of space. So they're the written comments we received. Just a short break for those of you that are on the call here. Just an FYI, if you do have other questions, clearly we are focused, as we said, on the budget for tonight. But if you have any other issues you'd like to ask of Harford County government or the county executive's office, please reach out to us. We have an email address that you can use. It is igovharford, all one word, igovharford at harfordcountymd, all one word, .gov. That's we also get us through our Facebook page. And for those of you that aren't old like me and you actually use Twitter, you can also get us on a Twitter as well. Okay, so let me go back. I know we had tried for Paul earlier. We thought Paul had called in. Paul, are you with us? Govharford. Okay, Paul, are you with us? Okay, we appear to have lost Paul. So that is everyone who we have had scheduled for this evening. At this stage, we want to kick it back to the county executive for some closing remarks. County Executive Glassman.
Let me get you back on there. All right. Thank you very much, Larry, for taking care of that for us. We know everyone's busy. We will keep this open for a number of days, for the next few days, so that citizens can take an opportunity to send us their comments on social media, by email, and for folks that are old like Mr. Richardson, actually use U.S. mail with a stamp and send it to us. I'd like to review all the letters and emails that we receive regarding the budget as we work the next couple of months to craft it. Finally, thanks to Harford Cable Network for broadcasting this event live. Video will also rebroadcast on Sundays in February at 7 p.m. Hopefully next year, the next administration will be back in a live format in addition to a virtual town hall, hopefully. And we look forward to seeing you and look forward to presenting a good budget here in the last term of the Glassman administration. So thank you all. Good night. Be safe and God bless.